Happy Thursday, October 12th. We're continuing with Freedom Over Me, and this is a book, a compilation about 11 slaves and their lives and their dreams. And so far we started out with Peggy, and then we went to Stephen, Jane, and John. And now today we're going to go to Athilia. Athilia was 42 years old, and let's learn about her. She was sold for $175. What got me is when John was sold and he was someone's birthday gift. It's hard to read these, but it makes us appreciate all we have and what's incumbent on us to do while we have an opportunity. All right, Athilia. All we've known as slaves is work. Work from dawn to dusk in rain, cold, stifling heat. I'm a laundress. I'm laundress for the Fairchild's estate. That means she clean clothes. I do the cloths, bed linens, draperies. I work with seamstress Jane, right? And you know, Jane was in love with Stephen, and they were like the parents of 16-year-old John, but we know that John's parents died when he became a slave, so he never really met his parents. So Stephen and Jane kind of adopted him and started taking care of him. Well, anyway, Jane was this very gifted seamstress, designer, clothes maker. I believe her people were from Zimbabwe. And now we see that Athilia is the one who cleans the cloths, bed linens, draperies. And again, she works with Jane, the seamstress, washing the clothes she designs. I'm also a first-rate ironer. I can remember, my grandmother would iron the sheets, the linen, and oh my goodness, meticulous, both grandmothers. Never scorching the cloth, smoothing pleats and ruffles, in Mrs. Fairchild's special dresses. I dress in a plain, coarse smock. All day she's around fancy clothes, and she just wears a smock, just like I'm wearing overalls today, right? Picture that every day wearing the same thing. And that's what, even though ingenuity and creativity and beauty is inside and outside of us, that we were resorted to wear potato sacks. That's why I love to see children express themselves with fashions and colors and their individuality. It's important to just show what's inside of you. Well, anyway, at harvest, she worked with the men in the fields. She drives the cattle to pasture, milk the Holstein cows, feed the hogs, clean the sty. I just heard a story on Chicago Black Talk Radio, and a woman was sharing lessons from her grandparents. That was the subject. Like, what was the most important piece of wisdom that was handed down to you? And this woman recounted how she lived on a farm or near farm animals, and her brothers would terrorize her constantly, and they would have her hanging by, I guess, the ankles or just teasing her to hang near this pigsty. And she would just scream, and ah. So one day, her grandfather put her in the pigsty. And what happened was the pigs ran on one side of the pigsty. So they were terrified. And that was it. That was the lesson. What's the lesson? That there's no reason to fear anything. There was no reason for her to have trepidation over pigs. They're the ones who were afraid of her. So ever since then, she has had no fear over anything or anyone. So her grandfather taught her that lesson. Threw her in that pigsty, and the pigs ran across. So that's what I'm saying. Fear no one. That's good. Well, anyway, Athelia had to feed the hogs and clean the sty. Don't you understand? There was no fear. The strength. In season, little Dora and I gather fruits and berries for Peggy the cook. Little Dora has grown up with me. She always wants to help. She is my escape from drudgery. Oh. Children can do that. That's why I love to work with youth. I had the opportunity to take them to a field trip today, and just to see the joy and the excitement of other school groups and the energy in the room and just the laughter and because you are building memories that will last a lifetime. And if you're not enjoying the young people in your life, oh, you're missing out. Now they can get on your nerves. But you got to remember how you were. And you develop patience and you develop perseverance, but you develop a sense of preciousness of life. And you see how fleeting moments are, and you appreciate every moment. Well, okay. She is my escape from drudgery. We enjoy nibbling the berries, tasting the fruit. She calls me by my African name, Adero, which means life giver. As slaves, we do what our owners expect and demand of us. As human beings, our real lives are our precious, just use that word, our precious secret. Yeah, it's something that we hold on to and appreciate. Now, these are Athelia's dreams. Look at her. I've never forgotten how the teaching and learning in my African village was by example and voice. We listened to the village griot, chanting the history of the griot, chanting the history of our tribe. We learned stories and songs that lived on in us. That's what I'm saying. They last and last. Peggy and I teach little Dora, keeping alive the oral tradition. When I teach little Dora, I feel I live up to my name. Our stories and songs strengthen our lives. That's why the elders, Cush and Movina, lift our spirits with songs they create, songs to the biblical stories we've heard, songs of our longings and feelings. Through all my years enslaved, I've listened to ancestral voices echoing through my weariness, giving me strength. Yes. What gives you strength this afternoon? Run to it. Go do it. Gives us strength to withstand injustice, to believe in myself, herself, and survive. May our songs and stories keep alive in us the will to grow and learning, the longing to be free. Woo, that was inspiring. I tell you, spend some time this evening going over some memories, just reminiscing, and you will conjure up some might, some power from yesteryear. Recall some of the lessons. I started recalling some of the wisdom from my grandparents and my parents. It's in us. And let's take some time to cultivate those precious memories. And we will see that we could get through so much. We could appreciate so much, and life is worth living. It's beautiful. All right. So I'm going to stop right there because I think that was precious. And we have to take advantage of the freedom that is over us, under us, beside us, in the back of us, and especially in front of us. Look forward to the future, better days. Good evening.